we bring in Andrew Friedman, the president of baseball operations of the World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Andrew, it's good to see you. How much time did you get to celebrate before you went right back to work?
Ooh, a whole 48 hours. But that 48 hours was fantastic.
GM meetings in San Antonio, right?
Yep, right after that on a plane to San Antonio.
I think one of the most amazing things about that World Series run was like the depth of the pitching. Because the amount of people who said, you know what, missing too many stars, going to be tough, war of attrition, and then that bullpen was unbelievable. How impressed were you by what they did?
Yeah, just the number of different guys that stepped up. There were some young guys that, would not have felt the confidence to do that without our veteran group and the environment that they created, our veteran guys. And just that mentality of next man up. And, look, we all felt it as pitching injuries were mounting. And into September, we felt that same thing. And, all of us have different visions and thoughts of how to win a World Series. I think the 2024 Dodgers showed that there are a lot of different ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, so before I start, A.J. Preller said, please stop spending money, okay? Slow it down.
Specific message from AJ. Yeah.
Well, wait, what would you tell AJ back? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, heard. We will definitely take it into consideration. We met on it, and we're going to respectfully decline.
Just a quick question. Talking about your pitching, really fantastic. Now, I mean, people don't realize how many pitchers were actually hurt as far as starting pitching is concerned last year. Was that the impetus behind signing a guy like Snell? And are you going to go to a six-man rotation? How is it going to work with Ohtani now part of the scheme? How does that work for Dave Roberts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the six-man is what's going to happen with Yamamoto, with Ohtani, and talking through it with Blake Snell before we signed him, with Glass. Obviously in those funky parts of the schedule where you have an off day on Thursday and one on Monday, we'll get creative and we'll figure out ways around that, not to give guys too much. But Ohtani allows you to do that, and he allows that opportunity to run a six-man and still have a full pen. And so I do think it's something we're going to take advantage of. But with each of our guys, it's doing everything we can to put ourselves in the position to win the division, get a bye, to then have the best chance to win with the ultimate goal is obviously to win a World Series. So adding Blake Snell into the mix with our existing guys, we couldn't be more excited about.
Talking about the bye, now there was some talk a couple years back about, hey, you had the bye, you guys weren't playing great baseball, that's why you didn't advance. What changed this year?
It's a great question. Obviously, we struggled a lot in the previous two seasons coming off the bye, and really our offense struggled. And we had a really good offensive team in 22, a really good offensive team in 23, and really struggled in those 3 and 4 games. Now, how much of it is it just a random 3 or 4 games? How much of it is having that amount of time off and just hard to simulate that kind of environment? In 23, we did things that were different than what we had done in 22. This year, we did things that were different. I don't know what the answer is. It's definitely a challenge. That being said, we're gunning for it every year. We want that bye and to figure out the best way to use it.
It's always tough. You don't tell your players, hey, don't play real well so we don't get that bye. And then all of a sudden we should have. The two Japanese pitchers are used to six-man rotation, so it kind of works in your favor. But, Andrew, I look at, same thing I told Robbie Thompson, the path of you're never going to sneak up on anybody with the Dodgers. Everybody's, like, you talk about injuries. Nobody felt sorry for you. You didn't expect it. You knew that. Some people said they're glad you have the problem, so to speak, but you overcame them. You did such a great job with the what-ifs. Keeping that mental edge and that knowing you're getting everybody's best shot. I think winning when you're expected to win is one of the hardest things to do in team sports. How do you guys attack that?
I think a lot of it, and it's a great point, great question, I think a lot of it gets at perspective. It crushes the alternative.
Yeah.
And so from our mindset, we relish it. It gets at the passion our fans have for the Dodgers. It gets to, the history of the Dodgers. It gets to the passion that the people in Los Angeles have. 50,000 people every night. When we go on the road, there's tens of thousands of fans. That in turn makes other fan bases not like us very much. And it comes with it, and it's something that, again, we'd much rather that than people be apathetic about the Dodgers. So the passion that people have on both ends, kind of helps fuel that, and we lean into it.
One of my favorite refrains of the postseason, Andrew, is when somebody would ask Dave Roberts about the availability of Shohei Ohtani, and Doc would just go, not available, thanks for asking. Having said that, he's going to be available at some point. Ideal time frame. When can we see Shohei on the mound?
Yeah, I think from us, getting through the shoulder surgery, it's obviously non-throwing shoulder. That's progressing really well. It definitely slowed things down a little bit. But again, you could argue as we get to next November and we look back that wasn't a bad thing, and how to try to manage all of this for 2025. So we won't know until he starts back in his throwing progression, until he starts back in his hitting progression, to have a better feel for that. But to this point, everything's gone as well as we could hope for.
And Mookie Betts, one of the best athletes in all of baseball. You feel comfortable about him being at shortstop every day. Is that where he's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's training for this offseason. And to know Mookie and you know him, you wouldn't bet against him. And so his mindset is, I know exactly what I need to do, and I'm going to attack it every day. So I will let fools on the other side of the table bet against him. We certainly would not. And his ability to get off the ball, the range, the hands, all played well above average. He had a hard time getting to his arm. And obviously he's an extreme arm talent, and it's just body position and learning and timing, and that he had to hit the ground running last year, that switch in mid-March. He said he's going to attack it right now, and I wouldn't bet against him.
Never can.
Last one for us, we thank Andrew Friedman. Biggest celebrity Dodgers fan, Jason Bateman, who's at the games, he's marking up the game, or Mary Hart?
We got a lot. Rob Lowe's there all the time. Brad Paisley.
Brad Pitt was at a World Series game.
That's right.
Big Dodgers fan is.
Yep. We got a lot. They come out, and I think they're all tied for first.
Good answer.
Very good answer. Very
That's just a smart answer. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. President of Baseball Operations, Andrew Friedman. Thanks so much, Andrew. Continued success.
Thanks for having me on.